wish that I could stay, wish for this moment to never go away. But it's all in my mind, and though I know that there is nothing to find.
Welcome back to another video. I recently returned from my first big campervan trip, and it was great because it made me realise what I want inside the van to make it suitable for my needs. In my life, I must have spent over 600 nights staying in campervans, and one of my favourite things about campervan travel is being able to stay off-grid and not have to rely on campsites to get electricity. This van currently has 230 volt electric hookup installed, which means if I plug into an electricity source, for example at a campsite or a house, I can then power the sockets and lights inside the van. From my trip, I calculated that I was spending an average of £22 a night to go to campsites, so this gave me access to electric hookup, showers, toilets, rubbish disposal, and then also sometimes a kitchen and Wi-Fi too. Obviously, if I'm going on a longer trip, the cost of that will quickly add up, so that's why I'm interested to find another solution. In previous vans that I've lived and travelled in, I've always had solar panels on the roof, so I've been able to generate electricity via solar and also through DC power in the cigar socket in the driver's area. I soon realised on my trip how much I missed having solar panels. Even though Scotland is not the sunniest country and solar does perform best in sunny weather, it is still possible to generate solar power on overcast and cloudy days. In this video, I'm going to start working towards my goal of turning this van into an off-grid camper van. I want to be able to use it in amazing locations and not have to rely on campsites all the time. My van is a Toyota Hiace. It's not the biggest van and it already has a vent located in the roof, which basically means I only have space in front of the vent and behind the vent to put solar panels. I want to put as much solar on the roof as possible to maximise solar generation. From my experience with the van and the bus conversions I've done before, the more solar you have, the better. The vent is not exactly located in the middle of the roof. The area at the front is a bit larger, so it's 110 centimetres by 85 centimetres, and then the back space is 90 centimetres by 85 centimetres. I also heard that it's better to use 2 solar panels of the same brand and the same size, as this reduces any issues when using the solar. So my goal for finding solar panels to put on this van was to find 2 panels from the same brand of the same size and to have the maximum amount of solar as possible. So I have spent weeks trying to find solar panels that will fit inside the 2 spaces that I have on the roof. It's been no problem at all to find a solar panel that fits in the front space. Solar panels traditionally are rectangular and a 100 watt or so solar panel fits perfectly in that front area. But the challenge was with the back area because it is a bit smaller. The traditional 100 watt rectangular solar panels don't fit in there. And all I could find was a 50 watt solar panel, which wasn't really enough. I didn't just want to have 2 50 watt solar panels on the roof. I eventually came across a company called Ecoworthy, and they seem to have 2 solar panels that would fit inside the spaces on my roof. So they arrived yesterday. I've taken one out of the box. This is what it looks like. But I have checked on the roof and unfortunately it doesn't fit in the back space. So the measurements listed on their website don't match what I ordered. Maybe I misread it or maybe it's a mistake on the website. But yeah, it doesn't fit. So I'll have to return the second one. And I just plan to use this 130 watt panel on the front area of the roof. Ideally, it would have been great to have 260 watts on the roof. I was over the moon when I found these panels and thought it might be possible to get that much solar on the roof of the Toyota Hiace. But even with 130 watts, I still think it's quite a good amount, especially because a lot of panels of this size are only 100 watts. It's unlikely that I'll be able to get the full 130 watts from the solar panel. From my experience, you don't usually get the full output from the solar panel. For example, when I used a 100 watt solar panel in the past, which was rated at 18% efficiency, I was getting around 80 watts of solar on the most sunny days. When purchasing solar panels, I recommend to check the solar efficiency rating. It's usually a percentage between 15 to 23%. The solar efficiency rating basically means how much of the solar will be converted into energy. Generally, most solar panels that you'll see will be rated between 15 to 20%, and on some occasions, some claim to have higher efficiency ratings. So for example, these ones are rated at 23%. However, I'll need to check them and see how much solar we can actually generate from this panel. So in the past, I've always used solar panels which are called monocrystalline solar panels, and they're the harder sort of glass solar panels. And the reason I've always used those in the past is because I've been able to install roof racks on the other vehicles, and also it has ventilation for the solar panels and they don't get too hot. So on this occasion, for this van, the roof is curved and it's also made from fiberglass, so it is a bit more challenging to install a roof rack onto this vehicle. So I have decided to go for the flexible solar panels this time, and I plan to attach them on using something called Sikaflex 522. Sikaflex 522 is a really good, strong, weatherproof and waterproof adhesive, and it's recommended to use on vehicles like RVs and caravans. So since I'd planned to use two 130 watt solar panels, I was going to join them together using these parallel connectors. So that means that basically the wire which will go into the van will have 260 watts coming in. So when you are wiring solar panels, especially when you're joining different solar panels together, you can either wire them in parallel or series. So this is something just to be aware of if you do plan to install solar panels, as the wattage and also the voltage and things can change depending on how you wire the solar panels. So before sticking a solar panel or installing a solar panel onto the roof, I highly recommend that you check the solar panel works before you do that, because the last thing you want is to stick a solar panel onto the roof with Sikaflex, which is incredibly hard to remove, and then you find out it doesn't work. So I had planned to test the solar panel with this small EcoFlow river, but I went looking for the cable for the solar connection and realised that this didn't come with a solar connector cable, it just comes with the wall socket and the DC socket. So unfortunately I can't check the solar with this EcoFlow. This video is not really turning out how I had planned, but I do have another battery that I've been able to test the solar panel with, and I've been able to generate 30 watts from the solar panel. So today is quite a cloudy and overcast day, but I'm quite happy with that result. If it was a sunnier day, obviously I'd be able to generate much more. So I'm happy to go ahead with sticking the solar panel onto the roof. So the sun just came out and I've been able to record 107 watts being generated now by this solar panel, which is absolutely amazing. For the Sikaflex to work correctly, you need to have the roof or the base area completely free of dust, grease and oil. So I'm going to go up onto the roof and prepare that area before I actually stick the solar panels on. Okay, the van roof is clean and ready for the solar panels and Sikaflex to be applied. It was quite a big job to clean that roof. It was really dirty and I ended up cleaning the whole front and the back side. To get the solar energy into the car, I'm going to need to bring a cable through the roof and into the van. So in order to do that, I'm going to have to drill a hole in the roof of the van. Unfortunately, I don't have any tools, so I'm going to go down to my family friend's house who's kindly offered to help me drill the hole and bring the cable in. So I'm going to be using this solar entry gland. The cables will go into here and then it will go, the hole will be under here, so it will be watertight and I'll be able to put some sealant around the side. So I'm going to go down now and drill the hole in the roof. So the solar panel is going to sit up on the front side like this, and then the hole and the solar entry gland is going to be over there beside the vent, just in case in the future a second solar panel will be positioned at the back side. So we've sanded inside the masking tape and then used white spirits to remove all the residue and dust. Okay, it's time to do the drilling. Luckily I'm not in charge of the drill. And it will be a 20mm hole. It's come through just there between the vent and the side. Okay everyone, so it's now the next day. Yesterday I will show you what we did on the roof of the van and also what the solar panel is now looking like. My camera unfortunately was getting covered in Sikaflex because I was helping to do the caulking to stick down the solar panel. So I will just go up on the roof and explain how we stuck it down and then also show you what it looks like now. Okay, so the solar panel is attached to the roof. So we attached with the Sikaflex, and as you can see on the roof there are these ridges that are sticking up a little bit. So we put Sikaflex along those and also around all four edges of the panel. Because the roof is slightly curved, especially at the front, we put some tins of paint there to hold it down. And it took around 5 hours in total for it to completely harden and dry. And then last night it was raining, so you can probably see a few pieces of water on the top of the solar panel there, and it seems to be absolutely fine, and there's been no leaks into the van through the hole. So I'll take you around the other side now and just show you the inlet hole where we drilled the hole and then put the solar energy gland. So this is what the solar panel looks like from the roof on the other side. Then the two cables going on the side of the vent there, and then entering in via the solar entry gland there. So that was also stuck down with Sikaflex, and even though it was raining last night, there's no signs of any leaks inside the van, which is great. So the solar panel has two MP4 connectors, and then I bought a separate extension cable. So I attached that, and then that was able to fit through the two holes there for the cable entry gland and then into the van below. So inside the van, the two cables are coming through like this. So what we're planning to do is to bring that into the upper cabinet there, just to hide the cable, and then bring it down behind the carpet possibly. We couldn't 100% finish the job yesterday because this extension cord that I bought, it didn't come with any MP4 connectors for the other end. So this one is probably designed to go into a solar charge controller. And if you're going straight into the solar charge controller, you don't need the MP4 adapters. So I've purchased a few more from Amazon, which are arriving today. And then we've covered up the ends there with some tape because these are live and there is solar energy coming in. So we'll attach the MP4 connectors on, then it'll be able to be connected into a battery. So now the solar panel is installed on the roof, I'm so excited to finally be a step closer to having electricity in my van. In the next video, I'm going to be sharing where the electricity will be going and what I'm planning to use for the battery setup in the van. A big shout out to Simon, who was amazing and helped me install the flexible solar panel, drill a hole in the roof, and also bring all the cabling through. Couldn't have done it without him since I have absolutely no tools to use. Overall, installing the flexible solar panel was quite straightforward compared to my experience in the past making a roof rack to then install the monocrystalline panels. So you just need the Sikaflex, but obviously if this panel does stop working in the future, it'll be a huge job to remove that Sikaflex from the roof. Hope you enjoyed today's video, and please look forward to the next video where I'll be sharing where the solar energy is going and what I'm going to be doing for my off-grid electricity system. See you next time, bye!